Hey guys, Coach Hunter here, coming at you with Clint. Today, helping me out with kneel knot number 3. Today we'll be talking about using the kneel knot to set up the omoplata, okay? The omoplata, I think, is a really important submission. I think it's very, very effective. For some reason, a lot of people kind of consider it more advanced than others. I think it's only true in the sense that it requires you to be very dexterous with your legs. And that just takes time to build. Most people don't have that naturally, so I think it's more difficult than something that gets a bit more kind of like visceral, which is like the arm bar or like the guillotine, where you're using your arms for a large part of the work. Or rather, they just don't require quite as much like movement in different planes with your legs to be really effective. So I think it's there are a lot of details here, but I think they're important to understand. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Let's go and also cover another entry to that overhooked position or the kneel knot position. So, flip to my guard. So guys, Clint has a nice good posture here, right? He has his hands framed on my ribs. Just pulling him down from here is gonna be really hard, okay? So instead, I'm gonna lift my hips. My hands are gonna travel underneath his wrists. I'm gonna drop my hips and pull my knees to my chest as I swing my hands outward. It's gonna pull him in, okay? Many ways of setting things up from here. We're just gonna go with a nice deep overhook, okay, on one of his arms. Often I'll also grab like the head to kind of stop him from posturing right away or limp arming out, okay? So I'll cover that one more time. I bridge my hips, coming underneath his wrists. I drop my hips and pull my knees to my chest as I swing his hand outward. Get into a nice deep overhook and a collar tie, just to control his posture temporarily while I pivot out to the side, using him this time, and get to my kind of side guard position. Okay, lots of options here. Just from this position, let's go ahead and go all the way to our kneel knot. So going underneath here, I usually will, if I have only one hand underneath my knee for a moment, I will meat hook onto his collarbone just to give me a little more control. And then I get my hands together palm to palm for my gable grip, okay? Remember, my bottom arm is palm toward me. Okay, right here. So guys, now we have a lot of control of his posture. We talked about that little choke here the last time. And what we might consider is as I go for this, he's gonna start pulling his head away from me, right? He's like extending away, so now I can't get my grip here. That's great, because it means that I can go to my omoplata more easily. Now if you have the mobility and he's in here close, go ahead and go real close, I might still be able to get the omoplata because I have the hip mobility. But if he moves away from me, it should be a lot easier. Okay, so my bottom arm goes under my ankle and pulls it through just so I don't kick my partner in the face. Of course, in competition, that's a bonus, but we'll go there, okay? So once my leg goes in front of his face, I'm in good shape. A couple of things that have to happen here in really rapid succession. So I'm gonna cover them methodically, and I'll show them more quickly later. But my bottom arm controls his elbow to stop him from pulling it out. Okay, gonna always help me. My top arm reaches to the sky like I'm asking a question in school. Teacher, teacher, okay? And my top leg is gonna push his face and pull my bottom leg out. And I can start going parallel to him. Once I kind of start coming out here, I can, and my bottom leg is totally free, I'm gonna pull my knee up and wedge it underneath his upper arm. I often cross ankles here, one way or the other. I don't think it really matters too much. Then once that happens, I can release here and start building up to my elbow, covering his back, and getting up to my seated position, still not loose here, and getting a nice tight wedge on his arm, okay? Right there. So this is our kind of like finishing position where we're ready to start looking to finish, or the omoplata position. So his arm is bent, and it's in my hip that's close to him, okay? If it came out and went to the far hip, we no longer have the omoplata, okay? We're not in a terrible spot, but I know the omoplata isn't going to be finishable here. I need it in the near side hip. So that's a lot. Let's cover that again. So I'm breaking his posture, coming out to my side, getting my kneel knot right here, okay? So from here, especially if I start going for this choke, he might start pulling away from me, okay? He also might drive in, we'll talk about those options, but for now he's pulling away. My top leg. I'm gonna guide through in front of his face. Once it's there, a couple things happen simultaneously. Controlling elbow, raising my hand to the sky, and controlling his elbow. I push through his face, pull my bottom leg out, it wedges in on his elbow. I come up and get to my position here. Okay, so this is where I wanna be. I'm gonna show the finish and we'll go back through a couple times to talk about a few considerations, but some important things. The first thing is that when he's on his knees, I can still finish here, but he's gonna be much stronger, much more powerful. As a smaller grappler, what often tends to happen here is that he postures really aggressively and just like gets really tall and like pulls his arm out. Like so, okay? So, what I wanna do is break him down. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm gonna show one way because that's not the focus of today, but I'm switching hands. Remember, going from one hand on his hip to two hands to one. So if I let go here, he's free. Okay, he can do a lot of things. So 1 to 2 to 1. I'm gripping his ankle or at his knee. Around this side here, I'm gonna pull his foot away as I pull his hip over the space. At the same time, I'm scooting away from him and breaking him down to his hip. Now, if he doesn't stay here, that's okay because I should immediately be going to look to finish. So as he's building back up, I'll be finishing there. So just know that you shouldn't be waiting here. Because if he just lays down and accepts his fate, that's one thing, but usually he won't, okay? My feet are going to turn away from him, keeping my knees pinched on his arm. My hand is going to go to the mat on the far side. I can put my weight on there. Driving my close knee to the mat, I lean forward into his ear. Nice and easy. And then fall back, starfish of victory. Okay? So guys, run through everything again. Right here. Controlling his hip, breaking him down, putting my feet outward, driving this knee to the mat, leaning forward, nice and slow. Releasing him nice and easy. So guys, a couple of those points are super important, especially blocking him from being able to step over my face and stopping him from rolling forward. We can talk about those things as their own kind of goals. There are things we can gain from him rolling forward and using the omoplata as a sweep, but that's a topic for another day. So guys, try it out. I think the omoplata is really fun. Definitely super powerful. If you get to that position, you can feel how much strength you have with your hips against their one limb. So it's really, really dominant. So guys, as always, like this video and subscribe to our channel to see all of our content. And stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the mats.